There's a psychological trick so powerful, so unsettling, it was erased from military textbooks and banned from schools. Not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. Once you understand it, you stop thinking like prey. You stop reacting emotionally. You start seeing the strings behind the people, the conversations, and the lies, and you learn to pull them. It was the year 1984 when a military experiment leaked a technique so manipulative, it never saw daylight again. No torture, no threats, no screaming commanders. Just one man, one room, one method. And in under 10 minutes, hardened soldiers turned passive, obedient, silent. Not because they were broken, but because something inside them had been quietly hijacked. He didn't order them. He didn't ask, he just watched, measured, spoke in a rhythm so subtle it slipped past the conscious brain and sank into the reptilian core, the part wired for fear, control, hierarchy. Soldiers obeyed without understanding why, and when questioned, their answers were eerie. It just made sense. That's when they realized this wasn't persuasion, this was neural infiltration. A direct override of the brain's survival wiring, and it left no resistance. The government shelved the project, classified it, buried it, but fragments slipped through the cracks. Today, you're about to learn the part that made it too dangerous to teach, and once you learn it, you will never unsee it. Not in business, not in relationships, not in politics. You will know when it's being used, and you will know how to use it. It begins with nothing. No words, no movement, just silence. That's the first strike, the pause, an intentional gap that forces the brain across from you to panic, to interpret, to submit. The longer the pause, the more dominant your energy becomes. Their mind starts filling in the blanks. Why isn't he talking? Is he analyzing me? Am I being tested? They talk to fill the space. They fold first, and now you have them. Step 2, eye contact, but not average eye contact. This isn't a stare down, it's surgical. Brief holds, then breaks, controlled, calculated, like you're looking through them, not at them. The limbic brain doesn't know how to process that, so it does what it's always done. Follows. Step 3, mirroring. Subtle pacing. You match their posture, tone, rhythm. Not like a puppet, like a shadow. The subconscious says, this person is like me. It releases tension. Trust forms without permission. You're no longer an outsider. You're inside their walls. Then comes step 4. A disruption. Something unpredictable. A line that breaks the pattern. Makes them freeze. That moment of shock creates a gap, and in that split-second gap, you insert the command. The suggestion, the seed, and their brain, caught off guard, accepts it without resistance. But none of these were the trigger that shut the soldiers down. No. That came from one final gesture, one signal. A signal so subtle and primal that most never notice it. But every brain responds to it the same way. It was what finalized the control, what anchored the obedience. It was a slow blink, not lazy, not tired, not distracted. A deliberate, dominant, slow blink. Timed just after the other person spoke. That was the silent cue that said, I'm not impressed, I'm not nervous, I'm in control here. And the other brain, wired by millions of years of hierarchy recognition, obeyed. You see it in apex predators, the ones that don't flinch, the ones that blink slowly before the kill, because they're not reacting, they're calculating, and the human brain, no matter how modern we pretend to be, still recognizes that look and says, follow. This is what was buried. This is what made the file classified. Not the words, not the ideas, but the signal, the non-verbal trigger that overrides logic and speaks to instinct. You don't need charisma. You don't need good looks. You need control. Calm presence. The pause, the pacing, the pattern break, and the blink. But here's your warning. Don't use this to fake strength, because the moment your behavior contradicts the signal, the mask cracks, and when people see behind it, they turn on you. And you will never recover that power. Use it wisely. Use it to lead. Use it when you need complete control, because now you know what most will never learn. The black file isn't a myth, it's real. And this was only the first trick. The deeper layers are even darker, even more dangerous. If you're ready to go further into the forbidden, follow the link to the second channel. No filters, no limits, just pure, unfiltered psychological warfare. Because now the choice is yours. Control the game, or stay asleep forever.